What it do, YouTube? So for this video, I decided to do a college related video. This is a subject that has really been coming up a lot more since the last about year of college that I've been in. Just a little background of me. I'm a junior in college. I'm about to be a second semester junior. My major is biomedical sciences and I'm on the pre-med track. So just for this video involving changing your major is going to be more towards the perspective of a pre-med student who's trying to go to med school. So it may be a little bit different depending on what your major is and depending on what you want to have your career in. Just take that into account when you're listening to these tips and just modify them as however you see fit. So since I am a pre-med student, my major doesn't matter when it comes down to coming to med school because you can have literally any major as long as your prerequisites are fulfilled before you apply to med school, such as like as long as you take orgo, gen chem, biology, math. Some med schools require calculus, some med schools don't. You just have to look into that specific med school that you're trying to apply to. But as far as that, I can be an art major, I can be an engineering major, I can be a science major. It doesn't really matter as long as those prerequisites are fulfilled. When I first came into college, I was a biology major. And going into the classes, I figured that I did not like biology because biology is more into plants and animals, but I'm more into like human biology. I like the biology of the body versus biology of plants and animals because I'm like, I don't want to do anything with plants and animals. I'm trying to be a doctor now. So that's why biomedical sciences really took my eye because that's a new major for the college I'm going to. And I was a little skeptical at first because it was a new major, so I didn't know if the program was going to be successful or not. But with the people that they had over it, they've been over they've been over other successful majors, so that's what really got me into changing my major from biology to biomedical sciences. The only difference is that biomedical science is more related to the human body and the biology of the human body versus the biology of plants and animals. So when it comes to changing your majors, I have 4 little tips on what you should look into and what you should think about before actually deciding to do it. The first tip I have is to weigh your interests versus your career interests. And when I say that, I'm thinking more of like my interest, for example. I'm really into creative stuff. So I love like art and I love just working with my hands and doing different things like just being creative and doing the dirty work behind stuff. But as far as my career interest goes, I know that I have a calling towards the healthcare field. And as far as that, my career interest is to work in a hospital one day and to do something with healthcare. So I had to look at a degree or a major that will fit my interest, but also fit my career interest in one. So what can I work with my hands with, and what can I also be in the healthcare field with? Literally, that them two go hand in hand. So it was pretty easy for me. But as far as you're going, like, what are you interested in? Do you like working with your hands? Do you like math? Do you like teaching people? Do you like just being creative and thinking on your own and just being individualized? That's another thing to look into. With your major, are you going to be more team-based with your major, or are you going to be more individualized with your major? Because I know some of my friends who are engineering majors, they have to work in teams a lot. So if that's something you don't like, then engineering major, and it's very heavily math-based. So if those are two things that you don't like, then an engineering major is probably something that's not for you. Because I know for me, I'm pretty sure a biomedical engineering major would be very interesting to me, but like math, oh no. I refuse to go up to Calc 3. I refuse and beyond. So in the biomedical engineering major is something that I know that I would not enjoy in the long run. But biomedical sciences is something that I have fully enjoyed since changing my major. And with career interests, like I was talking about before, like since I'm pre-med, my major doesn't really matter. But someone who wants to like go into business, like maybe healthcare management, but maybe like a biomedical sciences major wouldn't be such a good major to go into if you want to be like a CEO of a company. It just depends on what your career interest lines up with. That's why researching your career and just seeing what most of the people in that career field had when they were in college, or if they even did go to college. Because sometimes you can have a good paying job and not going to college, bruh. If I, whew. Number two, in what you should do when you're thinking about changing your major is to do research in different majors. Like, don't just like look into your interests and look into your career interests too, and also do research on which majors you feel would best fit that career that you're going after. It's all about the research you do and to look really in depth. And I say this is probably the most intensive part of the whole thing. Like, it's like steps into changing your major. You get going through the step of, do I like this major? Then you be like, maybe I should go into this major. And then, cause like some people say you'll change your major like 3 times throughout the whole college. That's a long time to be starting over school. This goes into my third point of where you have to look at the length of time you'll still be in school after the change of major happens. Because sometimes, depending on what you change in, like me changing from biology to biomedical sciences, it didn't put me back that much because they require some of the same classes. However, you also have to look, like if you're a business major who's trying to transfer to a science major, that may put you back like a year and a half probably, or a couple years or a couple semesters, because business majors don't have to take a lot of science classes. They take a lot of math classes and like businessy classes, but like science majors, they take a lot of intensive science courses and a lot of prerequisites. Like, you can't take orgo without taking gen chem. You can't take like inorganic chemistry without taking orgo, without taking gen chem. It's just like with science courses, they build on each other, but with business courses, I don't know how they work. I'm not a business major. I've never taken one business class, so I wouldn't know that aspect. But as far as like going into like what classes would transfer into that major, it may put you back a while. So that's something you also have to think about when changing your major, because like some people, like, funds is real in college. It's real, bro. And like some people don't have the money to be like starting all the way over. Like for me, when I changed, I have to stay an extra semester. Even though it's still a science major, I have to stay an extra semester because it is a new major to the college I'm going to. So since that's the case, they only teach classes certain semesters. So my prerequisites, like I was talking about science courses having a build up, like you have to take one class in order to take another class. That's exactly what's happening right now. Like, I have to take one class to get to another class, and since certain classes are only offered certain semesters, it's not as easy to stay on track. So that put me back a semester. So little things like that you have to look into, and like just to value the weight of that versus, do I really want to stay in school that long? And just this all goes into change your major. The fourth tip I want to say is deciding the exact point when you want to do it. Do it as soon as possible, basically. Like, I changed my major when last semester, not fall, spring. So I changed my major the second semester of sophomore year. With certain majors, like changing that late in the game is not good. That's why I'm like, if you don't like your major off the bat, listen to yourself. Because just listen to yourself. You don't want to go into like junior year being like, oh, I don't like my major. For some people it works. For some, I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but I'm saying it's better the sooner the better to change your major, because that'll benefit you in the long run and you won't have to stay in school so long. If senior year you feel like you don't like your major, I'll probably look into doing a minor that does interest you. Because with minors, sometimes jobs will take a minor versus a major. But you have to look into it. It's all about the research. That's why I'm going back to number 2. It's all about the research you do with your career and with your major. Research makes everything better because it's more of you're looking into the facts of things. So I say get a minor that you like, because possibly you can get a career in the minor that you have versus the major you don't like, and that won't put you as far back years, maybe at most a semester or two, but it won't put you back years. Also, if you don't like your major, you can also go to a graduate level program that you will like, because I know some grad level programs will take anybody regardless of their major. Do your research. That's probably the biggest highlight, because research will answer a lot of questions that you have regarding changing your major. Personally, I'm one for changing your major, because I'm like, I know for a fact I wouldn't have enjoyed my biology major if I stayed into it. But I enjoy biomedical science, because for one, good thing about having this major is that I take a lot of the same classes that biology majors would take. However, they're easier than the biology level courses, such as anatomy. A lot of my biology friends, like they're majoring in biology, or like other classes where they have to take the biology anatomy, and that thing is hard as stinking whatever. That thing hard. But like I had to take anatomy class, but it's my biomedical science anatomy class. It's much easier, but it covers the same stuff, and that's kind of like a cushion to my GPA almost. And it's like I still enjoy it without being so stressed out about it. Whew. But bruh, these pre-med courses are just messy. But I'm like, I'm almost done, bruh. Just what? 3? No, I got more than 3. I got 2 years. No, when did I graduate? Spring, fall, spring, fall. I got 4 some more semesters to go, so I'm like, I'm almost done with this ninja. Moral of the story: weigh your interests versus your career interests. Do your research, research. Look at the length of time that you will stay in school if you were to change your major, and to do it as soon as possible, because the sooner the better. And sometimes if you have to change your major like 3 or 4 times, like, ooh, that's a lot of time. But if that's what you have to do to find the major you love to get the career that you want, then hey, go for it. Because would you rather spend like 20 some years in a career you don't like with a major you didn't like when you graduated, and have to go back to school to pay more money for that major? I mean, pay more money for a different major versus doing it now and then having a whole bunch more time spent and not having to go to school back again to do the same thing you could have did when you was young. Think about it. Like this video and comment below if you did change your major. What was your previous major? What's your major now? What was you thinking about? And just comment if you think about changing your major now, and what things you kind of hesitant about doing. What's keeping you from changing your major? Just have a discussion down below about majors, bruh. Because college is 4 years to decide your future. If it take longer, it take longer. But at minimum, it's 4 years to decide your future. And make sure you make the best of it with your major, because that's ultimately what's going to get you the career that you want and to set up your life the way you want it.